Good evening and welcome to NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. October has gone. The election season, in fact, throughout now is peaking in November, because November 7th, ladies and gentlemen, is when the crucial state election battle begins. And this is the big semi-final, not talking about the World Cup semi-final here, but the big semi-final ahead of the 2024 elections, general elections that are going to take place in the country. So the first, in fact, set of states, Mizoram will be voting. The whole state will be voting on November 7th. That is Tuesday. Also, along with Mizoram, it will be the battle on 20 seats in the first phase of Chhattisgarh election. Now, this is going to be a mega Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, as the elections for Mizoram and Chhattisgarh are going to take place ahead of the 2024 elections. Now, crucially, because of the Naxal and the Maoist insurgency, Chhattisgarh is the only state which is voting in two phases. First phase on 7th, and then, of course, Mizoram, of course, is voting, or the whole state is voting on the 7th of November. High stakes battle for both the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Congress. For the Congress specifically, when we talk about Northeast, it will be very, very important to see whether the Congress party can make a comeback. At this moment, BJP, with most of their alliance partners, is ruling all the states of Northeast. Can the Congress make a comeback in the crucial northeastern states? That is going to be the big question for Mizoram, and how much of an impact Manipur has had on the situation as far as Mizoram elections are concerned. For Chhattisgarh, once again, Bhupesh Baghel, the chief minister, is quite confident, but now he's been completely overshadowed, overclouded by allegations of corruption, money being, in fact, allegedly, which was supposed to be for him being intercepted by the ED. So the Congress party at this moment, with the BJP on the upswing and, of course, alleging corruption in the state of Chhattisgarh, can the Congress make sure that they are, at least with their promises, stay on the top of the fight in the 20 seats of Chhattisgarh, which are going to poll on November the 7th. It will be a very, very important start as far as the 5 states are concerned. Let me first very quickly, in fact, at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, just play out the Prime Minister, who could not go to Mizoram for an election rally, released a statement today, and so did Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president.
2014 में केंद्र में एनडीए सरकार बनने के बाद हमने हर तरह की दूरी को कम करने के लिए काम किया। हमने आप लोगों की आकांक्षाओं को, आपके सपनों को, आपकी आवश्यकताओं को पूरा करने को सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता दी।
It is the Congress party which brought peace and stability to Mizoram. Today, under the MNF rule, the infrastructure of the state is in shambles. The youth want education and employment. Under MNF BJP rule, corruption has become a way of life. Our symbol hand has a track record of ensuring security, stability, and service.
This is the reason the Prime Minister could not, in fact, go and campaign in Mizoram, but all eyes would also be on Chhattisgarh. 20 seats of the state assembly are going to go and vote on 7th of November. The man in your pictures right now, because the Congress party did release their manifesto today. Today is the last day of campaigning for the first phase as well in Chhattisgarh. Bhupesh Baghel, a lot of his political capital is going to be tested in the upcoming polls. Listen in to what he said after releasing the manifesto.
इस बार भी किसानों का कर्ज माफ होगा। 20 क्विंटल प्रति एकड़ तक धान खरीदी हम करेंगे। सभी सरकारी स्कूलों कॉलेजों में केजी से लेकर पीजी तक शिक्षा मुक्त होगी। अब महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि जहां किसानों की कर्जा माफ की बात और 20 क्विंटल धान खरीदी की बात की थी, राजीव गांधी किसान न्याय योजना में मिलने वाली इनपुट सब्सिडी सहित किसानों को जो धान की कीमत अब मिलेगी वो 3,200 रुपया प्रति क्विंटल है।
How do you see, sir, this election now that you are trying to make a comeback?
ये इलेक्शन छत्तीसगढ़ के भविष्य का फैसला करने वाला चुनाव है। 2 दिन पहले हमने अपने संकल्प पत्र या घोषणा पत्र जारी किया और आज मैं विश्वास से कह सकता हूं, छत्तीसगढ़ में स्पष्ट बहुमत के साथ भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
Before I open this up for discussion, ladies and gentlemen, what we'll do, we'll just try and go across to our colleague Sunil Prabhu, who is joining us from Raipur, and we also have a report from Mizoram by my colleague Ratnadeep on what the voters at this moment, crucially, because the loudspeakers are now off in Mizoram. The state also is unique. There is not much the election sloganeering or high decibel campaign in the state. But what are the voters thinking? We'll bring you that as well. But let me quickly go across to my colleague Sunil Prabhu, who is joining us from Raipur. Sunil, the first phase of this election in Chhattisgarh is going to be very, very crucial, specifically for the Congress party if they are hoping to try and regain power in the state. These are 20 seats where the Congress, even in the last election, did quite well.
That's right. In fact, these are extremely difficult in terms of, for the Election Commission, in terms of ensuring a free and fair election. The elections take place between 7 and 3 in Naxal-affected areas. So there's, of course, Bastar and Dantewad and the other region. And then, of course, where the former Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Mr. Raman Singh in Rajnandgaon, is really trying to make, he's been there as 15 years as an MLA, hoping to be re-elected today. He was with the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, to give a finale to his campaign. And definitely it's evenly poised at this present juncture. We'll have to wait and see how things develop. But as you rightly pointed out, it's a battle in terms of competitive populism. The Prime Minister might have said that he's against the revenue culture, but both the BJP and the Congress are really competing here in this state to give freebies from 500 rupees a cylinder to both competing between 3,200 and 3,100 for MSP, as well as, of course, free education. The Congress has given from KG to university. These are some of the promises that are being made. A tall order which is going to cost thousands of crores of rupees. But this is election time, and these are times for promises to be given at this present juncture.
Everything, all doors are open, all promises are being made. Now the people, the voters, have to decide whether the promises that were made 5 years back, how many of those promises have been fulfilled. Thank you so much, Sunil, for joining us at this moment. Let me also bring you, ladies and gentlemen, a ground report from my colleague Ratnadeep from Mizoram, the crucial state which is going to go to polls on the 7th of November.
Welcome to this cafe conversation on the Mizoram election from the famous The Book Cafe Aizawl, one of the landmarks in the city where youngsters come, youth come, they discuss their life, their activities, and this time they have been discussing elections, and we also would be discussing what Mizoram is looking forward to in this election when people here go out to vote.
I teach in Government Shangbana College here in Aizawl.
And are your students really discussing what is going to happen, what will be the outcome of the elections?
Well, yes, you know, students of political science, they are quite interested in politics, which is going on right now, the election. I think they're hoping the political landscape to change this time around, because initially, I mean, in the past years, the trend has been like we have two terms of a political party ruling, and then it changes. So, but this time there's a new player, so new political parties contesting for the elections as well. So so the outcome is anticipated by them a lot.
Radha, you run this cafe. This is a very happening place. And what did you pick up in the run-up to the elections? When the campaigning was there, the youngsters come here, youths come here. What did you pick up from them? What is in the minds of particularly youths? Because if you look at the percentage of young voters that has increased in Mizoram, and they might be in what many say, they might be the kingmakers.
I guess there's a lot to say about that. They do have certain expectations in terms of employment, in terms of infrastructure, road, transport, and IT sector, all these things. Okay, they have many expectations. So rather than talk about a particular political party, I just discuss with them what they're really interested about, who would be in power and what would they do. So
What they're looking forward to.
So what they're looking mainly forward to is most of them, to be honest, they look towards sports also sometimes, sports development, right? But what they really need is in terms of connectivity, say internet connectivity is very important, especially during the COVID times, right? So some people in the villages, they had to go online for online classes, and there would be particular places where the internet connection is good, and they would have to climb steep mountains to reach those places. So internet connectivity is very important that way, and I think the government can do a lot better than it is doing right now. And second comes road transport. I think we all agree on that. Our roads, I wouldn't say they're the worst in India, but they're definitely not the best.
You know, the elections in Mizoram are also, they're quite different from the way we see elections all across the country. That's also is a fascinating story in itself. But joining me at this moment, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, author, somebody who keeps a very, very close eye on state elections and elections in general, politics in general. Amitabh Tiwari is also with me. You've seen him through and through on our political discussion, political strategist, somebody who really keeps a close tab on numbers and data which comes in from election states. Amitabh, I want to start with you first. Just define this. How important is for the Congress party to make a comeback as far as Mizoram is concerned, and what is at stake in terms of the first round of Chhattisgarh and the state elections of Mizoram?
See, in Mizoram, the elections are being held in the aftermath of the Manipur issue. And whereas Congress has played a dominant role in northeastern politics for quite a long time, so it is very, very important for the Congress to make a comeback here. And in terms of setting the narrative also, the Congress is in power in 2 out of 5 states. So it needs to win 3 states to set the narrative in favor of the party. And Mizoram, it could see as a low-hanging fruit because there has been anti-incumbency for the past 5 years. However, the state is very tricky in the sense the average number of voters per seat is only 21,300. And in the last election, out of 40 seats, 20 seats were decided with a vote margin of less than 1,000 votes. 1 seat was even decided with a victory margin of 3 votes. So it's a close contest. This time there is a triangular contest with ZPM also in the fray, which could divide the opposition vote. MNF has tried to distance itself with the NDA, and we need to see whether the Christian card, which is being played by both the MNF and the Congress-led alliance, holds or not. In terms of Chhattisgarh, this is largely 20 seats, 12 seats of the south, which is affected by Naxalism, and 8 seats of the central region. In the Bastar region, in the south region, last time out of the 12 seats, BJP could not win even a single seat. Even in 2013, when it had won the elections, the Congress was ahead. So this region is a stronghold Congress region, since it is a ST belt, and the role of the women voters are very important in both the states, because the women voters outnumber men in both Chhattisgarh and Mizoram, and their turnout is also higher than men in 2018.
Quite interesting, these insights. And as you said, it will be imperative for the Congress party, Rashid ji, in Chhattisgarh, to in fact have almost a similar kind of showing if they are hoping for a comfortable majority for Bhupesh Baghel to come forward, to come back to power again. For both the states, it's a very interesting situation in Mizoram where everybody is fighting the election against the BJP. It seems that the BJP, which has a lone MLA, but the BJP is on the target as far as all the political parties are concerned. How do you see this panning out, and how important is Mizoram and for the Congress party to try and make a comeback there? They're completely wiped out as far as political power is concerned in Northeast.
Thank you, Ankit. Ankit, actually, for the Congress, Mizoram appears to be easy, but it is most difficult, most challenging. I would say more challenging than perhaps even Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and even Telangana, because the Congress was supposed to be a kind of architect of that state. There was all the decode and how it was the Congress government that demitted office to allow Lal Dinga to take over and have this kind of peace in that state, and now it's one of the most peaceful states in the country. And there was a time when it was the insurgency was at the highest level, and Lal Dinga had famously remarked that it's a curse to be a Mizo in India. So it's a big change, and Congress had played a very big role, but today they are not there. The kind of politics that exists in Northeast, the kind of political management, the kind of I would say that things that are away from democracy, those kind of forces are at play. So it is very difficult for Congress. Congress may get 5, 6, 7 whatever those assembly seats, and perhaps there are two regional parties who consist largely of ex-Congress leaders. So it looks easy on paper, but in practice it's really impossible. Now coming back to Chhattisgarh, I think the Congress had performed very well. 17 seats they had won out of this 20 seats where voting would take place on 7th. So the Congress has a task there, and I think this time around my own assessment is, Amitabh may agree or disagree, that the Congress tally is going to come down, not drastically, but much less than. So if the Congress last time got 68, this time they will be around 52, 53, 54. Some of the pollsters are also saying that. But it's a victory. It's an important victory because for the incumbent government, I look at Ankit, to see all the states which are going to poll, except for Chhattisgarh, are heading, into my assessment, are heading for change. I'm making a sweeping statement, but that's what it is. So if Chhattisgarh Congress can retain, then it's a very kind of strong message, not only to the NDA, but within India Alliance also.
And Rajiji has been saying it all through, that his assessment is that of the 5 states, there is going to be, except Chhattisgarh, a change of government. That will give Congress some hope, because Amitabh was saying that for the Congress to gain some momentum, they will at least have to win 3 states. So out of 4, if the government changes, they will, and exclude Rajasthan as well. Out of them, there are 3 states in which Congress can win 2. Then the Congress party, along with Chhattisgarh, would be in the game, at least for the narrative for 2024. But Amitabh, it's quite interesting. Do you see an impact of what has happened right before the election campaign has come to a close in Chhattisgarh? There are serious corruption allegations which have come across as far as Mr. Baghel is concerned. There are the BJP's campaign, which seemed about 2 weeks, 3 weeks back, was lethargic, was not picking up, seems to be, has got some sort of a fillip, some sort of a momentum going. How much of an impact is that going to have?
I don't see that it is likely to have a significant impact, because it is happening very close to the election, so people would see that there is some political motive behind it. If the ED says that there is an allegation or there is a proof of a significant amount of a kickback to a CM, then why it is not going ahead and arresting the CM? That's fairly easy for the ED, because ED has been raiding places like anything, correct? So this ED thing may not work in favor of the BJP, and it could be seen as a last dance which the BJP has played just before the elections, because as Rashidji mentioned, all surveys are unanimous on just one state, which is the Chhattisgarh, that the Congress is likely to win. Maybe they will be not winning it like a one-sided manner, which happened in 2018, but it is ahead as per most of the surveys. That's number one. Number two, in Chhattisgarh, Congress is the OBC party, and the OBC caste census is also a big issue here. Whereas the BJP is the OBC party in most of the other Hindi heartland states. So if the Congress plays it up as an attack on an OBC leader by the BJP, then it is likely to have a double impact on the BJP, and the close contest, which most of the people are saying that the BJP is likely to win better than 2018. Then this could either goes both ways, because it could then
Right.
also propel some of the neutral voters to just stay behind, or rather vote for the Congress rather than the.
You know, and Rashid, Chhattisgarh has had a history of repeating governments. Raman Singh got three successive, governments. So there is, at least, like we keep talking about history in Rajasthan, there is history in Chhattisgarh which tells you that the governments do get repeated there. In that sense, if Bhupesh Baghel is able to win this election for the Congress party, he makes a comeback. Does it make him, one of the biggest leaders going into 2024 as far as the Congress party is concerned? How do you see this playing out for the Congress party going forward?
Yes, I think you have raised a very important issue, because Bhupesh Baghel is a OBC, and the Congress has dearth of OBC. Though they say that at this point of time, both Siddaramaiah and Ashok Gehlot are OBC chief ministers, but the fact is that they're past their prime, they're over 70 years of age, etc. So Bhupesh Baghel is going to be a kind of rising star. Remember, 2 decades ago, Mr. Bhupesh Baghel, as a youth Congress activist, used to raise this issue. Kamal Nath Zindabad, Digvijay Singh Zindabad, when Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh were one state. So it's an extraordinary story. Somebody who does not have a dynasty background to come up and get this kind of position. And look at the BJP. The BJP's election management is a part of its legend. So everyone says that Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, they can get everything right, and they have shown it also in states like Haryana, etc. But they're not getting their mathematics right. So there is something that is a very telling thing and striking, and there is no scope for sort of polarization also, because the state's composition is largely a tribal state, a Hindu majority state. So there, what I'm trying to make a contrast between Chhattisgarh and Bengal, or Bihar, etc. When you say that 20% minority votes till the scale, etc. So it's not there. In spite of being a very kind of majority community state, the BJP has not been able to make a dent, and this is something which is very significant. I think Mr. Bhupesh Baghel is a man to watch, not in the context of Congress, intra-party hierarchy and dynamics, but in national politics too.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm just last couple of minutes on the show. I will ask both of you in conclusion, 30 seconds each. Amitabh, what would be the key indicators that you would be looking at from both these, first round of elections, Mizoram and Chhattisgarh? What is it that will tell you a story not only for the semi-finals, but possibly going forward as well?
See, in both the elections, we will need to look at the turnout. And Chhattisgarh also has a history of a high nota. It is the highest amongst the highest nota states. So if the nota vote is fairly high, then it is actually beneficial for the incumbent, because it shows that there are angry voters, but they do not see confidence in the opposition to vote for them. Opposite to what actually Bhupesh Baghel ji had said, that nota should be removed and it should not be part of this. So these two things will be key, because it's the ST belt, and we need to see whether BJP is able to make some sort of a comeback in the southern region as well.
Right. Is there a narrative, Rashidji, that you are looking at that could have an impact, let's say, for India Alliance, which is at this moment on the cold box, only after the results on December 3, possibly it will have life again? Is there some big indication that you would be looking for as far as these elections go?
So I think, Ankit, it's very important that, for Mizoram and for India Alliance, that if there is a non-NDA government in Mizoram, that will be very significant, that will be very telling, that will be very important for 2024, because as we know, the India is, we have various states and regions. In the northeast, there is the absolute, kind of stranglehold of the NDA. So therefore, if India Alliance is to make a beginning, Mizoram is a place that is the ideal, setting, sort of the demographic equations, etc., everything. And they are very, you were saying that the campaigning has come to an end. They don't allow loudspeakers even,
You're right.
during the campaign. So this is something they are, outliers. And I think there is every possibility that they'll prove themselves in more assertive way, particularly in the context of what happened in neighboring Manipur.
That's right. It will have an impact. Mizoram is also a Christian majority state, state with one of the highest literacy rate as far as the country is concerned, and the only state where the Congress possibly would be hoping that there is some sprouts of a comeback as far as Northeast is concerned. Otherwise, it is very much in the grip of NEDA, the alliance of the BJP and the regional partners, which is spearheaded by Himanta Biswa Sarma. So that will be an interesting, in fact, turn of events if that does take place. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your insights on the upcoming elections. We'll keep coming and getting you on our broadcast for our viewers. At this moment, we are slipping into a very short break. News and updates continue on NDTV. Stay tuned.